Hello again. It's nice to be back making a video for you today. I've just come back from my holiday. I had 2 lovely weeks in Antigua. A couple of days of rain. Tropical storm Fiona came quite close by, but it was still lovely and warm. Did lots of reading, lots of relaxing. Really lovely. Anyway, whilst I was away, someone tagged me in a post because the post they were looking at had the highlighting technique in it. And this person said, any chance of doing a video? Well, I'm sure there are lots of videos on YouTube about the highlighting technique, but I thought I'd just try and do something that's just a little bit different. So what I did today was this card, a Christmas card. I don't know if you can see it very well because white on white is always notoriously difficult to photograph. But what I did was, rather than just stamping an image, choosing a small section to colour in or whatever, what I thought I would do is use a stencil 2 ways. Firstly, to make an embossed backdrop with the stencil, and then keeping the stencil in place, highlight part of it with some embossing paste, and then I twinkled it with a bit of glamour dust. So that is my highlight for me to put my little bird onto the trees, and I've just added a simple sentiment that said joy. So this is the process. I'm going to show you what I did. Now, there are a couple of ways of going about this. You could start with a larger piece of card than you want. I would always cut down my embossing to put on a clean and simple card because it would be covering too much of the area, not leaving enough white space. So you could make it larger to start with and then cut it out afterwards. If you try and cut it out with a die afterwards, you would flatten the embossing, you would flatten the embossing paste. So if you do it afterwards, I would always use a trimmer to cut it down. The alternative is, well, you also have to wait until this is absolutely dry before you can cut it out, because if you put it into a trimmer, normally there's something that holds the card in place, and that would smudge this stuff. So you have to be patient. So I did that one thinking I would cut it out later, but I haven't got round to doing that yet. So what I'm going to do is start off with the piece of card that I actually want to emboss, the actual size. That's this smaller piece here. And I cut that piece of card with one of these dies. These are from Press Cut. And what I like about them is they don't leave a flat edge, wide flat edge when you cut it out, because the metal is very close to the cutting line. So I chose 2, one to do the embossing and one as a mount just to draw the eye to that embossing. So here we go. There's my first piece, and I'm going to use, well, you can see here I've used some double-sided tape. Not double-sided tape, what am I talking about? This is low-tack tape. Low-tack tape. So I'm going to arrange my stencil over this panel, and I think I'll have just a little bit sticking to it. I don't want to damage too much. Now, the sandwich for my die cutting machine for embossing is the base plate, a rubber mat, your card and your stencil, and the blue embossing plate. However, that is a very fine piece of stuff, and if I want to get a deeper embossing, I'm going to put this metal shim underneath the rubber mat, just so I'm going to get a little extra pressure onto my card. So there's my sandwich. Just going to put it through my die cutting machine. There we go. Okay, let's take a little look. You can see there, nicely embossed. Okay. I think it moved slightly when I moved it over. Hey ho. Let's try and keep it. Oh no, it's gone. Let's just put it back in place. There's always a way. If you get in a pickle, there's always something you can do to put it right. Where was it? That was there. There. And there. Now I'm going to put some more over where it's actually going to hold it now, because it won't affect. I'm not going to do any more embossing with my machine. Let's get this in the right place. Right, where was it? That little jigger, it goes just about there. Okay. Is that about right? Should have put my glasses on. I've moved that one a bit. Okay. Right. So there is that's fine. Now what I want to do is highlight a little bit of this part just here. So I've cut a piece of scrap card with another one of my press cut. This is from the circle set. There's about 32 dies in one of these sets, and the increments are so small, they're superb for putting a little mount onto something. So let's choose somewhere we like from here. I'm going to put the little bird on there, so I want to make sure I've got a little branch for him to sit on. Do I want it to go off the edge? Perhaps I do. Let's just go slightly off the edge. I'm going to put another bit of tape on here just to hold that in place. And this is Dreamweaver Stencils Glossy White Embossing Paste. If you haven't got any embossing paste, fear not, because I have done a video where you can make your own. So you can look up on my YouTube channel. If you haven't got embossing paste, you can just do it. You need talcum powder, white glue, and water. I think that's about it. All right, I'm just going to go across here with some embossing paste. Right, now because I've put this on a piece of card, I don't have to bother about cleaning that up, but the stencil underneath will have to be cleaned fairly soon, because the embossing paste obviously does dry, and you don't want to damage the tiddly bits on your stencil if so there's that nice little bit embossed there on that one, and this bit, look at that, I've smudged it underneath. Can you see that? Let me see if we can remedy it. The whole thing looks a bit skew-iff to me. Okay, let's have a look. Get my piece of baby wipe. Let's look. Don't know if I like that or not. We'll see when it's finished. If it's no good, I'll throw it, but I'll give it a chance first of all. Right, now I'm going to just give this a quick wipe because I don't want too much of that left on there. I would, in the ordinary way, I would rush out to the bathroom and give it a good old wash, but I'm not doing that right now. Right, there we go. That's better than nothing. And a wash under the tap is probably the easiest way to do it. Now, with the card I made, I used regular Glamour Dust. But for this one, couldn't resist this. It's called Antigua Breeze. Can you believe? Antigua Breeze. So it's just got a little hint of sort of greeny blue. It's kind of the colour of the sea. It was a beautiful colour, I have to say, and beautifully warm. Oh, I think we're going to have to go back there again. Right, here we go. I'm just going to sprinkle some of this. Let me give it a shake up first of all, because it's got glitter in, and glitter always kind of gravitates. Right, here we go. I think I might give this a little heated just to see what happens. You can leave it. You can see all the glitter that went in on the top of there. Yeah. Let's just see. This may be rubbish, but we'll see. There we go. Too bad actually. Now then, that would go on there. I've got a bunch of little birds. These are Charlie and Paulson little birds. Some of these, this is one of those. This one is a little poppy stamps. These little tiny ones, a couple of them could go on there. Here's my card base. These trees are kind of leaning, but it wasn't far off straight according to the bottom of the thing. Yeah, so we've just got one highlighted little bit. Then you could add a sentiment. I didn't like this on the other card. This is why it's just floating around here. But I think because this is delicate, you need a fairly delicate sentiment. I could stamp one, I guess, but it's a question of what ink I would use. I could use Versamark and then use some of that, couldn't I? Anyway, there we go. That is highlighting with a twist. It's embossing with a stencil, using embossing paste through that stencil, highlighting that embossing paste with some glitter of some description, glitter, embossing powder, twinkle, whatever you like, adding up my little bird and a sentiment, and it's just a simple Christmas card. But obviously you could use it for any purpose. So I hope some of that was useful. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it.